Hey, 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 you know what day it is. It's Tuesday Tea with D. 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 Hey, boo, hey, how are you? It's your girl, Detra Trueheart, your life purpose generator, purpose provoker, and I Speak Life mentor with another weekly dose of Tuesday Tea with D. And so this week I have a new tea along with some new tea to give you to help you get out of your own way, stop settling so that you can show up for yourself in the same way that you show up for others, right? And this tea is actually, I just got it yesterday. And so I hung out with some of my sorority sisters yesterday. And my soror Giselle, shout out to Giselle, has a location called the Rooted Lounge. And I won't necessarily say it's like a cafe because she does like spoken word there, all the things. But she actually put together a tea blend for us. You see that? The little tea bag? Cutest thing. It's actually loose tea in a tea bag. And this is a lemon ginger blend. And I want to say she called it like, I'm going to make up a name, but I want to say she called it like lemon balm. But it is a lemon ginger blend. And it's good. It really is. And with the honey and the lemon. Honey. Mm. So with that being said, today's conversation is going to be a really good conversation. It's called Who's Asking You the Hard Questions? And so before I do that, this week's Tuesday Tea with D is brought to you by the Inner Circle, my membership and mentorship community of faith that helps women, Christian women specifically, helps us to push, propel, and provoke them into getting out of their own way so that they can get equipped and take their next best step in life, business, and ministry, right? We do monthly training, monthly accountability and goal setting with our co-working session. We have guest expert trainings, private community, and it's amazing, right? And so the women who are a part of the Inner Circle will tell you that it's probably one of the best investments that they've made, like at that level, right? And so it's $470 for the year, or $47 a month, and it's just, the women, like I said, the women will tell you, like I could tell you, it's like the best thing, right? But the women will tell you that the community, hands down, is amazing. The accountability that they get, and then also even just the monthly training is worth it, right? And so if you're in a space where you're not sure if you're ready for coaching with me, but you want to be in community with me, and you want to be connected with me, at a higher level, but not the highest level, I would say the Inner Circle is your best bet, right? And so you can get details at, I'll put this back up, at the Inner Circle, iSpeaklifeInnerCircle.com, iSpeaklifeInnerCircle.com. You see that in the lower left or right corner, depending upon how you are viewing it. So let's get to the tea. Over the weekend, I was at a virtual conference. I actually attended live last June. And this year I wasn't able to attend live, just had some other things going on, but I still wanted to participate. And one of the things that I think it's really important, and I will say that being a part of the Inner Circle is where you might be able to get what I'm getting ready to talk to you about. That might be your thing, right? But I really want to talk to you about this concept of who's asking you the hard questions. And so while we were there at the event, there were some things that we were challenged with, right? Or I would hear some conversations where not only were they asking questions, but they were challenging us. And even maybe who's challenging you to do the hard things might also be part of this, right, question. And hard, not necessarily in hard, but things that we might seem as hard or challenging, right? But would up level us, take us to the next level. And so, when you're in a room with 6, 7, and 8 figure entrepreneurs who, when given an opportunity to share, a lot of them had an opportunity to share on the stage as speakers. And then those who were 7-figure and 8-figure earners talked about how being in a room, with other people who are at a higher level, you are challenged to think differently, right? And so it's like, okay, so if people are saying, oh, well, 6 figures is the bar, but then now you're in a room with 7 figures and people are like, well, why would you only limit yourself to that? Who told you that that was the ceiling for you? Or who told you that that was the only way you could do it, right? And so I want to know, like, who's asking you the questions that challenge you to become your highest and best self, that challenge you to show up for you in the same way that you show up for others? Who's asking you the questions that call you out of mediocrity and call you out of your comfort zone, and what they talked about over the weekend was they call you out of your good zone into your great zone, and then out of your great zone into your extraordinary zone. And I would say out of your extraordinary zone into your phenomenal zone, right? And so who's asking you those questions? Who's calling you higher? What community are you in, that's really having you, from a faith-based perspective, right? Asking, what did God say? Like, what is God saying about this? Did you pray about this? Right? A lot of times we're quick to jump into a thing. And sometimes it's important for us to take a step back and say, okay, well, what did God say about it? Like, did God tell you to do that? Did God give you the go in that area? Did you pray about what steps to take? Right? Did you take a step back so that you can take 2 or 3 steps forward so that you can have momentum in that area? And so I just wonder, who's asking you the hard questions, right? Is it your therapist? Is it your coach? Is it a mentor? Is it your pastor? Is it your BFF, right? Is it, maybe, are you part of a community, right? Or is it the people in your community, right? And so who is it? Like, who's challenging you? Who's pushing you? Who's provoking you? Who's propelling you? Who's stretching you? Like, you need to be in environments that cause you to go higher, as well as deeper, but sometimes even wider as well, right? To increase your capacity. And that I was reminded of that this weekend, even as somebody who teaches that, who coaches that, right? I encourage that, within my community. If you're part of my community, I'm always asking the hard questions. I'm always trying to take you a little bit deeper as your coach. And sometimes as the coach needs, right, to be asked some hard questions, like, are you actually doing everything that you need to be doing to get to where it is that you desire to be? And depending upon where you are and what it is that you're trying to do, your answer might be yes, it might be no, it might be maybe, I don't know. But I know that there were some things that when I sat over the weekend and listened to the speakers and I listened to the conversations and even watched the 6 and 7 and 8-figure earners cross the stage for earning that in their business, one of the things for me is, am I doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing? Right? Not the extra thing, because some stuff we're not supposed to be doing. Like, God didn't tell me to do that, right? And so, but there are some things that I am supposed to be doing that I'm not doing. And I needed to be in that space where it wasn't even like I was in the room, but I was in the room and I was hearing what the speakers were saying to me. And I was like, man, I got to get back on it. Or I have to start doing, maybe it's something I had never thought about doing. And I'm like, oh, I have to start doing that now. And so again, where are you placing yourself? Right. I talked a lot during 21 days of prayer. And so if you're new to the community, we just closed out 21 days of prayer, the 21st of January. From January 1st to January 21st, we had 21 days, 21 speakers, one powerful encounter. And this year's theme was full throttle, stop stalling, not keep stalling, full throttle, stop stalling. And it was amazing. Like, I am not even going to try to tell you like all the things that happened with every single speaker, because it was so amazing. And so I would say one of the benefits of being a part of my inner circle is that you get access to 21 days of prayer that happened this year. But one of the things that I have been sharing on multiple days of 21 days of prayer is this idea that proximity is power. There is power in proximity, like getting in close proximity. And even they talked about it over the weekend at the event, and they were like, you need to be in proximity to success. right? From a faith-based perspective, you need to be in proximity with people who pray, with people who read the word, with people who understand the power of the Holy Spirit. You need to be in proximity, right, to faith. Right, your faith grows when you're in a community of faith, where you see God move, when you see God heal, when you see God show up for people. Like, your faith grows. Like, you need to. What do you need to be in proximity to in order for a specific area of your life to grow? Ooh, I felt that. That was a good one. What do you need? What, or even who do you need to be in proximity to in order for a specific area of your life to grow? Right. And so, whether it's related to life, whether it's faith, whether it's business, whether it's ministry, like whether it's marriage, maybe you need to be in proximity to couples who are not fighting and arguing all the time and, talking about divorce every 5 seconds. Like, maybe you need to be in proximity to the healthy version of marriage and relationships. And I'm not talking about, relationships that don't have conflict, but find healthy ways, right, to be able to move through that conflict. If you are looking to be an entrepreneur, maybe you need to be in proximity, with some entrepreneurs or people who are looking to become entrepreneurs. If you're looking to get your health better, or looking to build your health, or, just do better with it, maybe you need to be in proximity to those people. Right. And so, but even in those spaces, you got to be open to the hard questions around, like, well, why have you not started? Why have you not been consistent? What does it take for you to up level? Right. Because then a hard question is, okay. And it may not be a question, but a challenge, right? Or a command, right? It says, okay, now I need you to do 2 more of those. I need you to double that. I need you to, trust God, to do even greater than what he's already done, because he's getting ready to blow on that. Right. And so, like, for me, there was this challenge to, like, trust God at an even greater capacity, that, like, at the end of the day, we had 33 women. I just checked, there 2 more women registered, like, once it was over. And so we officially had 333 women who signed up to get access to 21 days of prayer. And within the first 24 hours, we had already hit 100 women. And so the women who had an opportunity to see that it was like they were in proximity to the power of the Holy Spirit and seeing God blow on something. And so seeing God do it for me, it was like, well, shoot, well, if he can do it for her, he can do it for me. Y'all see what I'm saying? So who's asking you the hard questions, right? I'm talking about a couple of different things as far as proximity, because sometimes in order to get the hard questions asked, you have to be in proximity to people who can ask you those questions. If you're in complacent spaces, if you're in comfort zone spaces, if you're in spaces of lack, if you're in spaces where, people are not, looking to move up, are not looking to excel, who are not looking to grow, then you don't have people asking you hard questions, because ain't really nothing to talk about. We chilling. We're good where we are. But you need somebody to say, okay, so why are you settling? Like, you do know that you're capable of more. You do know that God wants more for you. You do know that there's more in you. And so now that you know that, what are we going to do about it? Right? You said that you wanted to read, a book a month. Where are you on that? Why have you not committed to that? Why are you not consistent in that? Like, who's asking you the hard questions? Who's checking you, boo? Because y'all know, listen, if you're a part of my community, you already know I come with the check. Who's checking you? And checking you in a space of helping you to move forward, not to hold you down, not to stagnate you, not to stall you, but to push you forward. Like, to be in a space where they're helping you to, as we talked about during 21 days of prayer, check your engine, check your throttle, check your catalytic converter, check your the valves, right? And the passageways, to make sure stuff is clear and clean and unclogged so that you can move it. So sometimes you need somebody to say, okay, so have you checked your catalytic converter today? Have you made sure that, that you're doing what you need to do to operate at your highest capacity? And the answer is not always yes. Can we be honest? but you still need somebody to check in and where you can say, you know what, no, I haven't, but I'm thankful that you asked me that question, because I need to get back on it. I need to get back to drinking my water. I need to get back to exercising. I need to get back to praying consistently. I need to get back to praying until I hear. I need to get back to not just reading the word, but studying the word. I need to get back to reading a book a month or a book a week. I need to get back to, making sure that I'm monitoring my finances. I need to get back to getting back on track with my debt, because I want to make sure that my credit is ready for the next level of life that I'm preparing for. Who's asking you the hard questions? Who's pushing, provoking, propelling you? Who is challenging you? Who is it? Or maybe what is it? Are you in community where you're being stretched, right? Are you at a church that's causing you to desire, like, man, like, oh, I'm so excited. I want to go home and get in the word and really study this thing. Like, if you're at a church and you feeling complacent and you just there and you taking up space, honey, I'm not even going to touch that right now, because I can say something that hurts your feelings, but honey. And so I want you to, we're depending upon when you're watching this is the last day of January in 2023. It's January 31st. And as we move forward into this year, just know that if you're a part of this community, whether it's my free community, which is my Facebook group, the iSpeaklife Society, and so if you're not a part of that, let me see if I have a banner here that I can put the link where I can invite you. Make sure you answer the 3 questions. Here we go. So if you're not a part of my free community, that's my Facebook group, the iSpeaklife Society Facebook group. And then you make sure you're part of my email list, and make sure you're part of my text community, so that as I send updates, I might do a pop-up, message saying, just to encourage you. But if you're not a part of this community, join my community, right? That's my free community. But then also there is the paid community, which is the Inner Circle. And you can go to iSpeakLifeInnerCircle.com, iSpeakLifeInnerCircle.com. It's $47 a month or $470 for the year. And we meet once a month. We'll meet twice a month, but once a month primarily for training. Every month, let me say it this way, we meet every month for training, accountability and goal setting, and community, right? And so you should be a part of my paid community. And then outside of that, I do private coaching, but that's at the highest level. And I'm very particular about who I work with, because it's an investment. So if you're not ready to invest, then that's not for you. And then I also have trainings throughout the year. And once a year, I do my 6-month incubator, which enrollment is now closed for that. But if that's something that you're interested in at a higher level, we can have conversation around what that looks like as well. But I will say, get in, if you're not a part of my community, get my community, but also get in proximity and community with people who are asking you hard questions, who are challenging you to step up, right, to the plate and step into who you have been called and created and destined and purposed to be. And be intentional about it. And don't be offended. Like, don't come in spaces where, you're offended by everything that everyone says, because sometimes you need to be checked. Sometimes people need to ask you questions around why you're lazy, why you procrastinate, why you are not showing up, why you keep walking around having this victim language, why you are not mindful of the words that you say, to the extent that you self-sabotage your own stuff. Like, you need people who can love on you, but also who can check you. And there are tons of communities out here. This doesn't necessarily have to be your community, but you need to be in community and connection with people who are asking you hard questions. And the reason I say hard, because sometimes it's not a hard, you're like, oh, well, that wasn't that hard. It may not, but it's hard because it's calling you up. It's calling you up. So prayerfully, this was good for you, and you are now thinking about, who you are connecting with and what kind of conversations you are having, even in general, right? The people who you spend your consistent time with, what does that conversation look like? What kind of things are y'all talking about in your regular conversations, right? If encouraging you to go forward, as opposed to challenging you to stay where you are because you can, or because we didn't, or because it seems hard or impossible, or nobody's ever done it before. Then you need to start immediately changing those people and those conversations. Period. So I pray that today's tea was good for you. I pray that it challenged you to think about who you are in proximity to and who is asking you hard questions. And if there isn't anybody asking you hard questions, until you can figure that out, I'd love for you to join my community of women of faith, because I'm asking hard questions, because I want to see the best of you come out. I want to see God's best in you come out. And I want you to show up at your highest and best capacity. I want you to get out of your own way and stop settling, so that you can show up for you in the same way that you show up for others. Point blank, period. So I will see you next week and next time for Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D.